From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. arrived in Cebu Wednesday evening to host the 48th ASEAN Summit. The jet carrying President Marcos arrived at the Mactan Benito Ebuen Air Base about 9:14 in the evening ahead of critical meetings with regional leaders under the country's ASEAN chairmanship. The Cebu summit is being held in a scaled-down style due to the president's request to save expenditures in light of ongoing global uncertainty caused by the Middle East crisis. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, said that the government saved a lot by reducing the summit and moving a considerable number of preparatory and working level discussions to virtual platforms. Dominic Xavier Imperial, DFA Assistant Secretary and ASEAN 2026 spokesperson, said preparatory sessions, which were originally slated to begin earlier this week, were limited, with several conversations taking place via video conference. Executive Secretary Ralph Recto, who chairs the ASEAN National Organizing Committee, has ordered a rethinking of hosting arrangements, such as moving over 650 meetings online and reducing non-essential events. President Marcos rebuffed requests earlier this year to suspend the meeting, citing the importance of regional coordination in the face of global issue. The president had previously said that food security, energy stability, and migrant labor protection will be the Philippines' top priorities at the conference. Malacañang has announced a non-working holiday in Cebu City, Mandaue City, Lapu-Lapu City, and Cordova Municipality from May 6 to May 8 to support the regional meeting.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. identified food security, energy stability, and the protection of Southeast Asian nations as priority concerns for the 48th Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN Summit, which the Philippines will chair this year. President Marcos stressed the importance of regional solidarity in the face of rising global threats in a video message released ahead of the summit. He acknowledged ASEAN's resiliency in recent years, but emphasized that our work is far from over as the organization navigates an increasingly difficult global climate that necessitates ongoing cooperation. Under the theme, Navigating Our Future Together, President Marcos said that the Philippines is dedicated to leading ASEAN toward a peaceful, prosperous, and people-centered future based on unity and ASEAN centrality. The president listed energy security as a significant agenda item, especially in light of global supply interruptions caused by the ongoing Middle East conflict. Food security will also be a prominent priority, with President Marcos advocating for steps to ensure the free movement of basic foodstuffs, while simultaneously strengthening support for farmers and micro, small, and medium-sized companies, or MSMEs. He also emphasized the significance of protecting ASEAN people working and residing overseas, acknowledging their contributions to regional economies. The president also hailed Timor-Leste's expected full membership in ASEAN, calling it as a demonstration of the bloc's continued importance and commitment to multilateral cooperation. The ASEAN leaders are likely to discuss critical regional and global issues at the summit, such as economic resiliency, security cooperation, and humanitarian concerns. President Marcos is due to arrive or has already arrived Wednesday in Cebu following a series of engagements in Metro Manila. According to the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, all ASEAN presidents will attend the summit with the exception of Myanmar, which will be represented by its foreign minister. President Marcos said that the Philippines would continue to support ASEAN's founding ideals of peaceful coexistence, mutual respect, and cooperation. The Philippines last hosted the ASEAN Summit in 2017.
As ASEAN Chair this year, the Philippines carries with pride and resolve the responsibility of shaping the future of the region. The Philippines, together with other ASEAN member states, will engage in productive dialogue and exchange views on regional and global issues. Mindful of the problems confronting ASEAN peoples today, we will spotlight three main priorities: energy security, food security, and the safety of ASEAN nationals across the world. At this summit, I will lead discussions on how the region can bolster regional preparedness, ensure stable energy supply, and accelerate energy diversification to reduce vulnerability to external shocks, including those stemming from the conflict in the Middle East. I will push to strengthen food security in the region, keeping the free flow of essential goods and building measures to support farmers and MSMEs. I will also ensure that ASEAN nationals across the world feel the impact of what we do here in the region. Their safety is equally important, recognizing the contribution of overseas ASEAN nationals in our societies and our economies. We will continue to stress that as one region, our efforts will truly be effective on the basis of a unified approach and collective vision. Through these actions, we will embrace an ASEAN where its peoples enjoy a secure, peaceful, and stable future.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Implementing the proposed ASEAN Power Grid is one of the Philippines' top economic priorities as it shares the 48th ASEAN Summit, which aims to boost regional energy security and resilience in the face of global uncertainty. According to Undersecretary Alan Hepty of the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, the project is part of a larger set of economic priorities aimed at deepening integration and responding to external shocks affecting the area. He said that the ASEAN Power Grid Memorandum of Understanding anticipates cross-border electricity commerce, allowing member states to exchange energy resources and ensure regional supply stability. The project comes as Southeast Asia faces rising energy costs and supply concerns caused by geopolitical conflicts, such as the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Hepty said that improving regional energy connectivity is crucial for minimizing vulnerabilities and maintaining long-term energy stability. Along with the Power Grid project, ASEAN is trying to finish the ASEAN-Canada Free Trade Agreement, which aims to broaden trade networks and provide new economic prospects for member states. Other key targets include encouraging digital trade, increasing investments in green and high-growth sectors, and developing sustainable agriculture systems. Hepty stressed that ASEAN's coordinated reaction is critical to maintaining trade flows, supporting businesses, and sustaining economic growth in the face of global problems. The Philippines, led by Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., is hosting the summit this year under the theme Navigating Our Future Together, with a focus on economic resiliency and regional collaboration. ASEAN leaders are scheduled to meet Friday.
Dateline Malacañang.
On the government's response to the Mayon volcano eruption, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. presided over a situation briefing with key government agencies at the Malacañang Palace in Manila, where he ordered a swift and coordinated response to address the continuing unrest of Mayon volcano. President Marcos emphasized the need for immediate and well-coordinated interventions to help communities affected by heavy ashfall in Albay. In a statement, the Presidential Communications Office PCO said government response efforts include evacuation operations, relief distribution, and medical assistance for affected families. The PCO said the government has facilitated the distribution of face masks and potable water to affected residents to mitigate health risks. Mobile clinics, Starlink units, and water purification systems have also been deployed to evacuation centers and affected communities. Clearing operations are also being conducted by the Department Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH, the Philippine Coast Guard, PCG, and the Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP, to ensure access and safety in affected areas. The PCO said a 6-kilometer permanent danger zone around Mayon volcano remains off limits due to ongoing volcanic activity. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOX, continues to monitor Mayon's volcanic activity and provide regular updates to guide response operations. The PCO assured the affected communities of continued assistance and support to facilitate early recovery in affected areas in Albay. The DSWD has already distributed 93,373 food packs, 1,402 ready-to-eat food boxes, and 7,634 non-food items to affected residents. Mayon volcano, which spewed thick ash on May 2, remains at alert level 3, indicating an increased tendency towards a hazardous eruption. President Marcos earlier assured the public of the government's full readiness to respond to the needs of displaced residents.
Unang-una po, inutusan na po ng Pangulo ang lahat ng mga concerned agencies at sa ngayon nga po ay nagbigay ng pinaka-update na report ang DSWD. Nakapagbigay na po ng 93,373 food packs, 1,402 ready-to-eat food boxes, and 7,634 non-food items. At nandun din po ang continuous debris clearing operations, kasama po ang, of course, ang Office of the Civil Defense, DPWH, BFP, PNP, LGUs, and other concerned agencies. Nandiyan din po ang maintaining strict enforcement of 6-kilometer danger zone and evacuation protocols, and to ensure proper management and operations of evacuation centers, and to sustain, of course, the provision of essential services, kagaya po ng pagkain at iba pang mga pangangailangan, and provide health services to affected persons. And of course, kasama rin po dito to provide veterinary care for evacuated animals and to conduct post-disaster assessments. So yun po, patuloy pa po hanggang sa ngayon ang pagmomonitor dito po sa nagaganap sa Mayon Volcano.
Presidential Communications Office, PCO, Undersecretary, Palace Press Officer, Attorney Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Education, or DepEd, said it has mobilized at least 3.72 million pesos in cleanup and clearing funds and prepositioned thousands of learning and safety supplies to aid schools affected by Mayon volcano's ashfall in Albay Province. The DepEd has prepositioned 850 all-weather learning kits, or Educahon, and 95 face masks, hygiene supplies, printers, paper, disinfectants, alcohol, tissues, and other classroom materials for affected schools. Virtual learning and teaching kits worth 20,000 pesos per school have also been made available through partner organizations, including People in Need. The DepEd has also activated Batang Empowered and Resilient Team, or BERT modules, and psychosocial first aid interventions to help affected learners cope with the impact of the volcanic unrest while ensuring learning continuity in evacuation areas and nearby communities. As of May 5, 2 schools in Kamalig, Albay, Tagaytay Elementary School and Barrio Elementary School, are serving as evacuation centers for 172 families, or 603 individuals, including 53 learners and 10 DepEd personnel. A total of 24 classrooms are being used to house evacuees. Overall, 133 schools were affected by ashfall from Mayon volcano, which remains under alert level 3.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other presidential news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led a simultaneous rollout of the Bawat Bayan Makikinabang program in 4 cities in Metro Manila, expanding government assistance for indigent and vulnerable households. The pilot implementation in Metro Manila is part of a broader effort to streamline the delivery of national programs in coordination with local government units, LGUs, ensuring that aid and development initiatives are immediately felt at the grassroots level. President Marcos visited the cities of Muntinlupa, Las Piñas, Parañaque, and Pasay to oversee the rollout, underscoring the administration's continued push to strengthen collaboration between the national and local governments in delivering social services closer to communities. In his remarks at the Muntinlupa Sports Complex, President Marcos emphasized the importance of synchronized national and local government efforts in implementing public programs. President Marcos said the initiative aims to promote inclusive development and strengthen the localized delivery of social services through LGUs. As a former governor of Ilocos Norte, the president reflected on his experience in local governance, saying it helped shape his approach to public service. He noted that first-hand experience at the local level is crucial in understanding public concerns.
Ang sadya ko po rito ngayong araw na ito ay upang tignan at tiyakin na maganda ang ating paglunsad ng mga bagong programa na nanggagaling sa national government na kasabay ang ating mga local government nang sa ganon. Ito po ay ginawa namin upang maramdaman kaagad ng taong bayan kung ano man ang programa, kung ano man ang tulong, kung ano man ang pondo na ibinibigay ng national government ay dadaanan natin sa local government. Ako po ay lumaki sa local government. Dahil naging governor po ako na 9 na taon doon sa amin, sa Ilocos Norte. At nakita ko, habang governor ako, nakita ko na ang dami ko natutunan tungkol sa paano ang patakbo kapag nasa ground level. Iba pag congressman ka, iba pag senador ka eh. Iba kapag pangulo ka. Pag hindi ka dumaan sa local government, hindi mo alam yung talagang mga issue at kung ano ba yung mga praktikal na mga pangyayari na kailangan bigyan ng solusyon.
In Muntinlupa City, about 1,900 families were identified as pilot beneficiaries of the rice subsidy under the Bawat Bayan Makikinabang program. The initiative covers indigent and vulnerable households across all 9 villages, with a broader rollout targeting 31,000 families citywide. Under the program, each barangay from 4 cities also received 200,000 pesos in cash assistance to support priority community projects and local initiatives. 5 presidential scholars from each village also received 20,000 pesos each.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. expressed his intent to increase allocations for the Local Government Support Fund, or LGSF, and the Social Civic Projects Fund, or SCPF, to sustain the faster delivery of services at the grassroots level. During the launch of the Bawat Barangay Makikinabang initiative in Las Piñas City, President Marcos said higher allocations for the programs would depend on the results of their nationwide rollout. The LGSF and the SCPF are key components of the government's efforts to strengthen support for local government units and communities. The LGSF provides financial assistance to LGUs to support priority development programs and projects, while the SCPF funds community-level initiatives, including education support. President Marcos emphasized the importance of empowering LGUs, noting that devolving funds facilitated faster and more efficient service delivery. He said local officials are in a better position to identify beneficiaries and implement programs compared to centralized processes that often take longer due to bureaucratic requirements. Under the Bawat Bayan Makikinabang program, families in need will receive 10 kilograms of rice every 2 months, 6 times a year, through the LGSF to help ensure food security among vulnerable sectors. Complementing this, the SCPF allocates 200,000 pesos to each village, with half of the amount earmarked for educational assistance. Each village is expected to support at least 5 residential scholars who will receive 20,000 pesos each. President Marcos said a whole-of-government approach with strengthened coordination between national and local governments is key to ensuring the prompt delivery of assistance to intended recipients. He assured the public of his administration's continued efforts to refine and expand programs aimed at easing the burden of rising costs and improving the quality of life of Filipinos.
Kaya patuloy namin ginagawa ito upang matiyak namin na lahat ng mga nangangailangan, lahat ng humihingi ng tulong ay mabibigyan ng tulong, naaalalayan ng pamahalaan. Alam niyo po, tapat ang paniwala ko na napakahalaga ng ginagampanan ng ating mga local government. Napakahalaga ang kanilang serbisyo, napakahalaga ang kanilang trabaho. At sinasabi ko sa lahat ng ating mga opisyal, kapag maging maganda, siyempre bago pa lang itong programang ito ngunit pagka maganda ang ating maging resulta dito sa ating mga ginagawa, kapag maayos at maganda at mabilis ang pagbaba ng tulong sa ating mga kababayan, ay asahan ninyo sa 2027 lalakihin po natin ang pondo para dito sa LGSF at saka sa SGPF.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. urged scholars to maximize the government's educational assistance, stressing that they are being prepared to become the country's future leaders in various fields. In a message to presidential scholars in Parañaque City, he emphasized the importance of education in shaping the next generation of leaders in government, business, and other sectors. The scholars are beneficiaries of a program under the administration's Bawat Barangay Makikinabang initiative, which provides funding to villages for priority programs including educational assistance. Under the program, each village receives 200,000 pesos with 100,000 pesos designated for scholarships. This enables each barangay to support at least 5 presidential scholars who will receive 20,000 pesos each to help them finish their studies. President Marcos urged the scholars to focus on their education and strive to earn their degrees. He described education as a lasting form of wealth that cannot be taken away and continues to grow over time. President Marcos noted that the program is being implemented nationwide, potentially benefiting more than 200,000 students. He said investing in education is crucial to improving the lives of Filipinos and ensuring long-term national development. President Marcos also encouraged the youth to prepare for leadership roles, saying that the time will come when they will be responsible for making decisions for the country. He expressed hope that the scholars would contribute to nation building and help uplift their communities in the future. President Marcos also addressed presidential scholars and similar events held in Muntinlupa City, Las Piñas City, and Pasay City.
Darating ang panahon na kayo na ang tinitignan at ng taong bayan na kayo ang mamumuno ng kung ano man, kung sa gobyerno, sa negosyo, kung ano man. At kayo na ang magpapatakbo, kayo na ang magmamando dito sa kabuhayan natin dito sa Pilipinas. Para naman maganda ang magiging resulta niyan, kailangan magandang training na pinagdaanan ninyo. Kaya at lagi kong sinasabi sa ating mga scholar, gamitin nyo na mabuti itong panahon na ito, na mag-aral kayo, magsipag kayo sa pag-aaral, at kung ano man ang matutunan ninyo, yan ay isang kayamanan na nasa sa inyo na yan. Kaya't ito ay kayamanan na gagamitin ninyo para maging mas maayos ang mga buhay ninyo. And yan ang aming contribution para sa ating mga kabataan. You are the future leaders of our country. You are the future leaders of our economy. It will be up to you.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Finally, for Dateline Malacañang, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. observed the joint maritime strike operations conducted under Balikatan 41 2026, highlighting the Philippines' growing defense capabilities and deepening cooperation with the United States or U.S. and other allied forces. The Presidential Communications Office, PCO, shared photos of President Marcos' arrival at Camp Aguinaldo in Quezon City to witness the activity featuring the Joint Task Force Maritime Strike, where Philippine and U.S. forces carried out coordinated operations to detect, track, and engage simulated maritime threats. The Maritime Strike component forms part of the broader Balikatan Drills, an annual exercise between the Philippines and the U.S. aimed at strengthening interoperability and enhancing military readiness. During the activity, participating forces integrated various assets including naval platforms, aircraft, and ground-based systems to execute synchronized maritime strike scenarios. The drills also emphasized joint planning and command and control processes, enabling participating units to coordinate actions in complex and dynamic operational environments. Balikatan 41 2026 is considered among the largest iterations of the exercise, involving thousands of troops from both countries and participation from allied nations, reflecting a growing network of security cooperation in the region. In addition to maritime strike operations, the exercise includes a range of activities such as humanitarian assistance and disaster response, air and missile defense, and cyber defense training. These are designed to simulate real-world scenarios and enhance the ability of participating forces to respond to both traditional and non-traditional security challenges. The exercise also serves as a platform to deepen defense partnerships and build trust among participating nations through shared training and collaboration. This year's iteration also carries added significance as the Philippines and the U.S. commemorate the 75th anniversary of the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, underscoring decades of alliance and shared commitment to maintaining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza-de Guzman.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.